not executed, that's the choice of word. They were killed by the terrorist attacks.
And it is sad that our soldiers are constantly killed. But the sad part is, or the most painful part is, what is done for them afterwards? What is their welfare package like? You see, we live in a country where we have normalized the abnormal. It's a country that is currently sitting on the precipice. And I don't want to scare you this morning, but I'll say it the way it is. We live in a country where respect and dignity for those that lay their lives down every day in this country is not respected. Our soldiers are being killed. What's the afterwards welfare for their family members? Very sad. Justice Crack the other day just showed us a portion of their living conditions, and he was incarcerated. But in the same country, Sheikh Gumi can say what he says, but he's walking a free man. It speaks volumes about the country you live in. The teacher that was beheaded is a reflection of the nation we have become. The president said it's a barbaric act. A teacher was beheaded. He didn't fly the flag at half-mast. We didn't show pain. We didn't react. We just say we're going to find them and rescue the rest. It speaks volumes about the country we live in. It's a country that doesn't think and care for the poor. It's a country that neglects the poor. When are we going to fly flags at half-mast? Maybe when a former president dies, a big man dies. But for us, a teacher that was beheaded in a country where you have over 10 million out-of-school children, and a nation doesn't even shudder. A nation still goes to sleep. This morning, I would like to beg you. We can't keep saying the teacher's reward is in heaven. Let's start a teacher's fund. Anywhere around you, you see a teacher in need, reach out to them with a small teacher's fund. Because we can't afford to make our teachers feel they are left behind. They protested yesterday because their colleague was killed. But all the government says is, we'll fix it. But they never fix it. And they fail us over and over again. We can talk military strategies. We can talk killings of terrorists. We can talk American intervention. But as long as our teachers are still beheaded, and we still have some teachers in captivity, it's never going to be well. So I think that's the biggest story in the land this morning. As regards the APC, what should I say again? Who shall I speak up for? Oh, I would speak up for the deputy governor in Ogun State, whose name was removed. But when we said the APC internal democracy was faulty, I'm probably sure she will be part of those that defended so much. But this has been visited upon us. Or shall I speak up for the Kwara senator who said he was gone in for the governorship primaries, but his name came out in the senatorial primaries and he was defeated? Or who shall I speak up for? Billionaire businessman, Ned Nwoko, isn't it? Shall I speak up for him? Yes, I'll speak up for Ned. But he crossed and he thought the APC was going to give him El Dorado. But now he has eaten breakfast. Who else shall I speak up for? The list is endless. But most importantly, when Mike Guinea was speaking up and telling you guys that the same electoral laws you signed was going to put you in problems, you called us the liars, then you called us names. But today, you want us to speak up for you because the same party you trusted so much and you put everything in and you thought you were going to get an automatic seat has come around to bite you. What has happened in the APC with the primaries is just a clear case of bushmeat catching the hunter. However, remember the words of Samson Tan when he sang so proudly that one day bushmeat will catch the hunter. So all of those that have benefited from this same shenanigan now sees what it feels like when they lose now. And if you dare call this internal democracy and primary, yes, I will remind you by saying, Yaya Bello, that the EFCC chief bragged that if I don't bring to book, I will leave my job, has gotten the Senate primary candidature in his states as we speak today. In fact, we don't even know what to believe because some people brought out the story and said, oh, he didn't qualify for the screening, but he also won. So that's your democracy for you. And like Dr. Abati said yesterday, yes, Iyolo Omisore did even win from the prison. But the question you'll ask is, where is the place for common decorum and the fight against corruption? Where is the place for at least saying, let me settle my corrupt case before I think of politics? But people here say, oh, it's not been convicted, isn't it? And that's the kind of life we live.
Okay.
Yaya Bello is walking scot-free. El Rufai, we're trying to perfect his bail. All corruption allegations.
Okay, I have extremely limited time. I'll just try to say what I can say in the limited time that I have. Which subject should I take now? Okay, let me start with the party primaries. The electoral provision for party primaries is in sections 84 to 88 of that, electoral 2026. And section 84, sub 2, says specifically that primaries can only be by direct primaries or by consensus. Now, ahead of the various primaries, this became a problem because persons in the APC, in particular, were concerned that most of the persons had been chosen via consensus. Some people say via anointment. Now, the fear is that after these primaries, there is going to be a lot of litigation under the rubric of pre-election jurisdiction. However, there is a cautionary tale, and that cautionary tale, clearly, is that in the recent decision of the Court of Justice Joyce Abdulmalik in the matter involving Fubara Dagogo and APC, now Justice Abdulmalik threw out that matter and even fined the plaintiff, dismissing the matter as frivolous and outside the jurisdiction of pre-election matters, within the purview now of section 85, sub 2, 83, sub 5, which talks about the fact that internal party matters are the responsibilities of political parties, which is a decision that has also been taken in Onuaha versus Okafor, and also in the matter involving Turaki. Both of those cases are 2003 cases. So there's going to be a lot of litigation as expected, but the affected parties should just be careful because there will be a lot of tests for Section 83, sub 5. And if Justice Abdulmalik's ruling in Fubara Dagogo versus APC is anything to go by, people should just be careful about the lessons of pre-election jurisprudence because your matter can be thrown out. You can even be fined for bringing frivolous cases. And your lawyer can even be reprimanded for wasting the time of the court. But it will be interesting to see what happens hereafter, after all the primaries. Now, the second matter has to do with security. The president has said all the right things. People killed, not just in Oyo State, Urire local government, Surulere local government, Southeast local government, and all of that. But there was also the case in Musa in Borno State. So the president says, after a fashion, we will go after the people, we will bring them to justice, the security agencies will do their work. The same thing that Governor Seyi Makinde has said. But what happened? After the simultaneous coordinated attacks in those 4-5 local governments, it took the police 2 hours to show up. Why is it that our security agencies always show up so late? The second thing is about state police. The president says the National Assembly should expedite action on the creation of state police. Well, are all the states who had promised that they will work on the idea of state police, are they ready? That also is a question. But the more interesting development is this collaboration between the Nigerian government, the agencies, and the United States, the cooperation, which led to the demobilization, the killing of al-Manuki on a Saturday, which the Americans themselves acknowledged. And then on Sunday, we are now getting the report from Defense Headquarters that about 20 ISIS soldiers were also neutralized. Well, the more that is done, we will see it in terms of security. And this is political season. The people need to be safe and secure. As for the matter involving President Goodluck Jonathan, now, the main matter before the Court of Justice Peter Lifu, is about Section 137, Sub 3. And Chris Uche, SAN, who is counsel to President Jonathan, has said that the law, that Section 137, Sub 3, cannot have retroactive effect. The second argument of counsel to President Jonathan is that, look, the complainant, the plaintiff, John Mary, I think is his name, Jidobi, John Mary Jidobi, has no local standard in the matter. And then the director of civil litigation and public law, along with Chris Uche SAN, have now said that matter should be thrown out by the Court of Justice Lifu. But meanwhile, there's also a challenge from Jidobi John Mary challenging Justice Peter Lifu, saying that the Court of Lifu Justice is biased. But the learned justice has already fixed May 27 to determine the matter, and we can only wait till then.